Welcome to podcasts recorded live at the Center for Spiritual Living in Portland, Oregon. We have many programs, classes, and workshops developed just for our online audience. To find out more, go to our website at cslportland.org and look under the Online tab. Our mission is to open hearts, ignite minds, and make a difference. If you'd like to support our center and its video podcasts, you can donate online at cslportland.org/donate. Allow us to become part of your extended spiritual community. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are most welcome at the Center for Spiritual Living.
Good morning, everyone, on this super hot day in Portland. So we know, those of you who made it out through the heat, that our souls are definitely welcome here. So let's stand and sing about that, shall we? My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. Just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place. Right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome.
Good morning and welcome to the Portland Center for Spiritual Living and to our Facebook Live service. We are a Science of Mind community that teaches spiritual principles to transform your life and make the world a better place. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. All we ask is that you stay open to the possibility of changing your entire life simply by changing your mind. My name is Nancy Ashley, licensed practitioner here, part of the ecclesiastical team. It's my honor to welcome you. If you are new to the center and joining us in person, there are welcome packets on the back table, and it contains information about who we are, what we stand for, and how we might serve you. If you are in our global audience, I invite you to go to our website, cslportland.org, under the About Us tab, on the menu tab. You'll find a lot of information, again, about who we are, what we stand for, and how we might serve you. So this website gives you a lot of details about various activities at the center. Everyone's invited to go to our website, cslportland.org, and you can sign up to receive various things. So first is there's an email listing for our events and services. Second is our daily Science of Mind 365 Ernest Holmes affirmation that Reverend Larry sends out every day into your email box. And third is if you enter your birthday, then you receive an email card and also the gift, which is our birthday card that we give to you. So we have a number of announcements here, and I'm going to mention just a couple. Everything's in your program. If you're here, it's in your program. If not, it's online. So we have our weekly meditation service, which is Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Zoom. And this week it's being held by, facilitated by Sean Larkin, one of our newest practitioners. One with the Sun, solar-powered spirituality. And I can tell you he is a shaman, so you're going to get something special. We also have our usual lunch with Reverend Larry on Friday, 11:30 on Zoom. And that includes a virtual lunch and then a discussion about what's been talked about here on Sunday. We also have Zoom meetings for our Social Justice Book Club and our 12-step meeting for women. So all of those, there's just so much going on. Please check the website, cslportland.org, for everything you needed to know. Reverend Larry is going to tell us, or Reverend Marilyn's going to tell us a little bit about our educational program coming up.
Thank you, Nancy. Good morning, everyone. The education team, our esteemed education team, is all set for our summer offerings, and one of the offerings is Essential Earnest Homes. I am facilitating that class. It's a 10-week class, begins on Tuesday, July 13th, and runs through September 14th, and we're doing summer hours from 5 to 8 rather than 6:30 to 9:30, so 5 to 8 Pacific time. What do you learn in this class? Essential Earnest is all about his quiet devotional writings as well as his impassioned teaching for future leaders. His love of people and the facility for seeing past problems, look beyond appearances, blends modern psychology with our ability to make conscious mental choices for a better life. So Essential Earnest Homes, registration is available online, cslportland.org. We're also offering a spiritual development class. It's more on Emma Curtis Hopkins. And for everyone who knows that name, Emma is considered the metaphysical teacher of teachers. And this class is facilitated by Kate Barrett, licensed practitioner Kate Barrett, and by myself. It's an 8-week class, Thursday evenings, starting July 22nd through September 9th from 5 to 8 Pacific time. What are we going to learn? We're looking at lessons 7 through 12 of her famous spiritual study classes of the 12 Lessons of Truth. So Emma, all of us who's had Emma, we're in for a mirific experience. Now, all of our classes are on Zoom, and you can register cslportland.org. We look forward to seeing you in our Zoom classroom.
Thank you, Reverend Marilyn. So today our special music, our congregational songs are by our own practitioner, Marcy Beck, but our special music today is by Kristin Amundson, who is one of our regular congregants here and joined our music team after a women's retreat where she told us she really wanted to be part of the music and sang some songs for us then. So thank you, Kristin. Today's message is kick some metaphysical ass. From the book, You Are a Badass. Okay. All right, Reverend. So this will be by Reverend Larry. And stay tuned. I've said we are a very unusual center here, and it's okay. So sit back and relax, because we know that somewhere between the music, the meditation, and the message is exactly what your heart came to receive.
Well, after after that, let's just switch gears and take a deep breath together as we prepare to go into meditation with our meditation chant.
This world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is sacred love. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Go inside to find my God. Go inside to find my God.
And as we go inside, knowing that within us is all of the divine wisdom, love, life. There is only one power, one presence, one essence of individual love, and it is everywhere present. It is the source of all that is. And I know that this source includes life everywhere. It is the infinite, eternal, unconditional love that we receive and experience from Spirit. It is that wisdom that is always available to guide us, to support us. And it is the unity, knowing that every aspect of the universe is part of this oneness, that we are all one, that we are all perfect, whole, and complete in ourselves as individualized expressions of that oneness. And so I know that I am a being of God as God, and that is true for every person within the sound of my voice, that we are all imbued with all of these beautiful qualities. They are there waiting our recognition of them. And so I claim and affirm for us today, for each one of us, that there is an authentic power within us as we go within and know that Spirit is always available, that there is a power to this divinity to this divine intelligence, to this infinite love that is in us, and it empowers us that we are always able to be guided and supported to our highest and best good in every situation. That which is ours to do is available, and we are supported in it with authentic power, meaning that we don't have to kowtow to anyone or anything, that we know within ourselves what is our truth and the truth of all beings. And so with this empowered, authentic self, we are able to go forth and be a badass, yes. And so for each of us, we give thanks for knowing that this authentic power is always within us, always available, and we can use it every moment. And so I just give thanks for this. I know that it's always available, and I am so grateful. And when we express our gratitude, we bring in more and more of that good from Spirit. And so I just release my word into the action and activity of the law of mind, the law of cause and effect, which brings us manifestation of all that we truly, firmly believe and have faith in. We know it is manifested. We know it is true. We let it be. And together we say, and so it is. And so as we go into our moments of silence, I just invite us to think about, what does it feel like to know that power, that Spirit is fully within us, present always?
And Drucker today.
I see the beauty in you, I see the power in you, I see the greatness in you, and so it is. I see the child in you, I see the sweetness in you, I see the softness in you, and so it is. I can see it's right there before me. I can feel it deep in my soul. I just know it, that you are an angel full of magic and power and pure sweet love. I see the goodness in you, I see the wisdom in you, I see the strength in you, and so it is. I see the joy that's in you, I see your light shining through, see the love that's in you, and so it is. I can see it, it's right there before me. I can feel it deep in my soul. I just know it. You are an angel full of magic, power, and pure sweet love. I see the power that's in you, and so it is. I see the beauty in you. I see the power in you. I see the greatness in you, and so it is. I see the beauty in you. I see the power in you. I see the greatness in you. I see the goodness in you. I see the wisdom in you. I see your strength breaking through. I see your joy, joy, joy. I see your light shining through. I see the love that's in you. I see the grace that's in you. I see the courage in you. I see the heart in you. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is.
Thank you, Kristin. What a treat. Welcome, everyone. So glad you're joining us today, both in person and online. So today, yes, we're going to learn how to kick some metaphysical ass. And I think maybe I need to do just the littlest bit of explanation around what we mean by being a badass in terms of metaphysics, right? So I think we're all familiar with action heroes on TV and in the movies, and that idea of the badass, of course, is someone who really goes out of their way against all odds to make some kind of a difference in the world. And of course, they're acting it out on the inside, right? Often we're not even really sure what motivates them other than a sense of just needing to prove themselves right in the world. Well, a metaphysical badass, I think, is someone that has those same kind of convictions on the inside first. Someone that wants to stand for truth in a way that's going to overcome all obstacles. Someone who stands for goodness or joy or peace in a way that is not going to be dissuaded by other people's opinions, other ideas, the way the world presents itself. To truly be a metaphysical badass, we have to be able to look around us and see things that aren't quite the way that they ought to be, but know that the change isn't an external force, it's an internal force. It's that willingness to go within and actually become the thing that's important to us. If we want to see more peace in the world, the metaphysical badass figures out ways to be peace, to envelop their surroundings in peace. The metaphysical badass looks around and sees inequity in the world, whether it's racial injustice or other things. They do what they need to do on the outside, yes, but first they make sure that their own hearts and minds are pure around equality. Does it make sense? So we're using, we've got some help. Jen Sincero's book, You Are a Badass, we're using this month. And so far we've talked about, first of all, rethinking how we treat ourselves. If we're going to be a badass in the world, we certainly need to know our own power. We certainly need to understand that we have to be, in some measure, in approval of, in love with, in some ways, our own selves, what we stand for, who we are. And so we've spent a couple weeks talking about this healing of the heart and the mind that allows us to really look at our own lives with positivity, to know that I'm worthy of having the good life, to know that what I want to accomplish out in the world, that I'm up for it, that I can do it, that it's within my purview to act out in the world to bring about greater peace or greater love. And although I think that work will perhaps never be done, if you think about it, when are you ever leaving off becoming more you? Because that's what I'm talking about, really. I'm not talking about you becoming someone different, becoming someone you're not. I'm saying, really, it's the authenticity of what you stand for here. And when does that stop? When are we fully made? I don't know that ever happens, but I do know that we're ready now to take some steps. I think through these last couple of weeks, we've gotten that idea of I'm worth it, I'm capable of it. And now, so what is the it? How do we want to start making our mark in the world? How do we want to move that bad acidness out of our hearts and out of our minds out into the world? And so Jen Sincero has 3 tips that I want to cover with you today. And the first one is how we go about making decisions. So often, I find that people are hesitant to make a decision. And by that, they make a decision to not do something, but to try to do something. Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, sure, I'll make a commitment to that, and we'll see how it works out. Right in the get-go, even as I'm announcing what I'm going to do, I'm already backtracking a little bit, and I hope it turns out right. I'm already giving myself permission to go halfway or to give it a try and see what happens. A badass is all in. Someone who really is going to make their mark on the world is all in. You know, Sincero talks about Henry Ford and some of the early experiences building the automobile engine. And at one point, he decided that to get a vehicle with enough power that it could do more than, just power a single person around, that they needed a 6 or 8 cylinder engine. And he decided that really for this to stand up to the rigors of internal combustion, if you think about it, it's like little explosions inside each one of those pistons. And he said it really needed to be cast in a solid block. So nothing that is going to be screwed together that would be able to withstand the explosions of the internal combustion engine. And so he sent off his engineers, and they came back to him after a couple months of trying to figure out how to cast it and or how to drill it or the different ways they could come up with this. And they said, well, Mr. Ford, it can't be done. You know, we've talked to everybody. We've even corresponded with Europe, and this kind of casting has never been done before, and we're not even sure that it's theoretically possible. Well, apparently Henry Ford was one of those people, one of those kind of nevertheless guys, and so he looked at them and said, nevertheless, I'll give you a couple more months, but we're going to do this thing. You're the brightest engineers on the planet, or at least, that he had hired. Figure it out. And so they went back and they were giving him progress reports, and still nothing was happening. They managed to cast a dual cylinder, but as soon as they would build up the casting apparatus, they started having failures in it. It would warp and do different things so that the cylinders wouldn't be lying. And I know I was learning way more about how to cast parts than I probably can even talk to. But basically they came back to him after 8 months now and said, we still can't do it. We've tried everything within the realm of, we've even just tried things that seemed crazy. Different alloys, different materials to try to make this work, and it doesn't work. Well, apparently, he just folded his arms and looked at them and said, guess what? Nevertheless, we're going to do this because the future of this, I want to build a truck that can actually haul things. I want to build something that is more than just an electrified buggy for hauling 1 or 2 people around. And the kind of engines we're building right now, that's all it's ever going to be. It's just going to be a couple people riding around in like a Model T. We need something powerful if we want to move into the idea. This is before there were trucks, right? I mean, we're all familiar with the freeway littered with trucks hauling things. So how do we get from here to there? It took them 2.5 years before they finally were able to begin casting an 8-cylinder engine in one block. Now, he had made the decision that that's what was going to happen. The engineers under him, not so much, right? We'll try this out. Well, I think we could try this, and I think we could try that, and well, we could always try a different material. But do you see, they never actually had it in their mind, and that's why it took so long, probably. They never really had it into their mind, this is what we're going to do, and seeing the end product in mind. And in fact, one of the engineers that eventually, it really was a materials issue. They were using the wrong kind of materials to be casting. And it finally was him having a vision of ways of strengthening the material that they used. He was able to see beyond the problem into the solution, and that's what finally got them there. But after 2.5 years, are you willing to make that kind of a commitment around your decisions? A badass will be. In fact, if you've noticed any of those action movies, right? It's like, oh my gosh, what isn't the hero or heroine willing to do, right? They're willing to get on airplanes and go to places they've never been before. They're, willing to climb 200-foot buildings on the outside with suction cups. All those action adventure movies, right? They're willing to do anything because what they are seeking is so important to them that it's no holds barred. It's like, I'm in for it. I can see where I want to go. I can visualize and understand what's important to me. I'm willing to do what it takes. If I have to learn a new skill, if I have to invite other people that have more knowledge than I am. Henry Ford was not necessarily a materials expert, right? He had to hire that. He had the vision, but he had to involve other people to get from here to there. So this isn't necessarily a decision you have to do on your own, but you have to have that commitment to actually getting it done. And I wanted to close this little bit of a section here with a famous quote. So those of you who enjoy science fiction, see if you can identify this particular quote. Do or do not. There is no try. Yes, exactly. So let's take the words of Yoda, right? It's like, no, don't give this a quote, a try. Make a commitment. It's what the badass would do. All right, the second thing I want to talk about, and you'll immediately know where I'm going as soon as I announce the section of this title. It's doing versus spewing. and I'll use an example. When I first went to work for the telephone company, it was interesting. I was in at the telephone company, at that time, you either started as a telephone operator or as a data entry clerk. And I did not picture myself, with the cords and things like that. So I went the data entry route. And so I found myself in downtown Portland in a lovely building. And what would happen was there would be a teletype machine over here, and it would just chug away all day, shooting out these 7-piece forms. And my job was to break them open and turn them into flat little orders, and then walk them over to another desk and put them down. And then when there were about 100 of them there, I would sit down, and whatever was written on that teletype, I would type it into another machine. And that's what I did for 8 hours. I'd go over here, wait till there was about 100 of these orders. Then I'd go over here and sit down and type them out. I got to tell you, I think it only took 3 days before I realized I would kill myself before very long in that job, right? It was mindless and horrible, and they rated you on how fast you were and how accurate you were, and it was not what you would call a fulfilling job. And so what did most of the people who work there do? They complained about it. On breaks, the cafeteria was one big complaint fest. Everybody talked about how bad, well, and that's interesting. They called it bad working conditions. Actually, the conditions were good. It was a nice building. It was, there wasn't anything wrong with the conditions, but the job itself just so mind-numbing. And so people talked about how bad the supervisors were and how terrible the teletype machine was, clattering away all day, and how the machine we had to type into was terrible, and how terrible even the coworkers were, and on and on and on. And after going into the break room 2 or 3 times, I said, well, if the job wasn't bad enough, talking about it is even worse. Literally talking about it not only was making me kind of brain dead, but it also gave me the impression that life wasn't worth living, like this was going to be the end of my days in this job. Well, finally, I noticed that, first of all, I stopped going to the break room. It was better just to sit at my desk than to listen to all the negativity. But I noticed there was someone else who likewise wasn't going into the break room. And so I became friends with a woman named Bobby. And she and I put our heads together one day, and we just said, we're tired of complaining. We're tired of this job that's kind of sucking our souls. What could we possibly do to make it interesting or fun? And so we started competing against each other, and whoever got the most orders done by the end of the day with the fewest mistakes would buy drinks that night. Now, of course, you all know that my history of the drinks didn't come to necessarily a good end, but I will tell you that the process of turning it into a game, of really intentionally doing our work for some good purpose, even if it was only the game of buying each other drinks at the end of the day, completely transformed that. We went from just spewing about the job into doing something about it. What can I do to make my world better? Not just talk about it, and in particular, not just complain about it, but what can I do to make my life better? And that is something that a badass is always looking for. A badass does not just sit back and notice everything going wrong and turning to someone to the side and saying, A badass is going to step up and do something to make life better. But I do have one more thing that I need to talk about. We've talked about making decisions, making a commitment, and we've talked about doing versus spewing. But there's one element that I think those other two things are not going to go well unless we have this third piece. And initially you're going to say, now wait a minute, how does that fit in here? Because the third subject that we need to talk about today is surrender. And I got to tell you, when you see any of those action movies, you're not seeing surrender. So let me first of all explain what I mean by surrender, because often we think that surrender is giving up. And that is something, of course, that a badass never does. This isn't about giving up or giving in to circumstances, but it is willingness to give up knowing the whole how it's going to happen. So often when you're a badass, you have a vision of the end product, but you don't know all the steps. Now, if Henry Ford had known all the steps necessary to make that engine block in one piece, well, that would have been sweet, right? But he was not diminished by the fact of knowing how it's going to happen. He simply surrendered to the process of having some very talented metallurgists and engineers around, knowing that over time and with experimentation that he didn't even know what direction it would take him in, he nonetheless knew that it would have a good outcome. And so that's the part 3 of being a badass, is being willing to surrender, knowing from end to end how it's going to happen. In the science of mind, we talk about that in terms of really surrendering the how to spirit. Spirit is that infinite wealth of all knowledge and all experience. Spirit has been, and will be the source of all knowledge of everything on this planet. And so in spirit, there is the knowledge, the technology, and the wherewithal to do anything you could ever dream of. And so at some point, we have to be willing to surrender our own ego, who can't know everything, who can't possibly know every bit of what's going to happen or what could happen or what should happen. We have to surrender that up to something bigger than ourselves. It is enough that you have the vision. It is enough that you have the commitment. It is enough that you're going to stop whining about it and start working on it. That is for you to do. Figuring out every little detail, you can surrender that up. Now, that doesn't say that you're not going to participate in it, right? Because one of the other things that we know about science of mind is to make progress in the world. What is progress? Well, it's a forward step, and it's a forward step. So we know that we're going to be involved in taking steps towards our goal. We make our pronouncement, and we move forward, right? We say our word, we have our vision of the future, and we are willing to work towards it. But that's enough. We do not have to plot out the whole shebang ahead of time. We do not have to know how every little piece is going to fall in place. We simply have to know that every little piece is going to fall into place and be willing to take the next step. So I have a summary for you today of what we've learned, but I think first a joke. So a martial arts instructor, a marksman, and an engineer are invited to participate in a contest to see who's the most badass. Their contest is a simple one. They're each allowed to bring a weapon of their choice to the arena, and the rules are the first person to draw blood wins. So the martial arts instructor walks in with a huge long sword. It must weigh 20 pounds. The marksman walks in with a double-barreled shotgun, and the engineer shows up with a red marker. Are you a metaphysical badass? I think so. So let me summarize. We covered 3 key concepts that can really move you forward in your badassery. First of all, decisions and commitments. Are you willing to stay the course? Are you willing to actually do instead of try? The second one is doing versus spewing. I ask you, when is complaining actually useful? The only time complaining is ever useful is if it provides some motivation for doing something. So if we're already going to do something, let's just stop complaining about it, right? There is actually no need. And then the third thing that we talked about is never to surrender the what of your dreams, but surrender the how. You do not need to know everything up front. You simply have to be willing to hold fast to that idea of the finished product, the idea that you want to see born in the world. And when you hold fiercely onto that, when that is your focus, all of the steps will fall into place. Well, I do have a little bit of homework for some of you today. You get to decide whether this homework is for you or not. Is there a decision that you've been putting off? Is there perhaps been some spewing going on rather than doing? So if either of those is true for you, I would like you to make the commitment to yourself to stop the spewing and start the doing, to move forward in that commitment of the better life. And it might be better in terms of a relationship. It might be better in terms of your working conditions. It might be better in terms of your home or your neighborhood. But what have you been spewing about lately? And let's turn that into a commitment to doing. I'm going to close with a final quote from Jen Sincero's book and a prayer. She says, give yourself the permission and the means to be who you are, regardless of what anyone else thinks or believes is possible. Do not deny yourself the life you want to live because you're worried you're not good enough, or that you'll be judged, or that it's too risky, or that it's too hard, because who does that benefit? Who does the spewing benefit? No one. That's who. You are powerful. You are loved. You are surrounded every day by miracles. Believe, really believe that what you desire is here and available to you, and then and only then you shall have it. Love yourself because you are a badass. Let us pray. There is one power, one presence, one life, one goodness. It is the sum of all things, and it is always present, always available. And I know that means me. I know that this Spirit is moving through me to accomplish so many things in my world. Truly making a commitment, truly being able to know that I'm on the path towards a better life of my making. I'm willing to surrender myself to the how, while keeping it firmly in mind what it is that I choose to accomplish. And as it is true for me, I know it is true, or can be true for everyone, that it is possible to make that commitment, to begin that process of doing even the audacious things necessary to bring about a better life, taking action to make things better, surrendering the how always to Spirit, allowing ourselves the time and the resources to accomplish all of our goals. And for this, I'm grateful. For this, I simply release this prayer into the activity and action of the law, that law that always says yes, that law that is always here to support and guide. I let it be, and together we say, and so it is. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you so much. Now is our time of conscious contribution. I'd like to invite you to take your gift in your hand, or perhaps to go to a mobile device and get ready to give to us. And I invite you, if you like, just to repeat after me. Graciously I give, from a place of love, knowing that as I give, so do I richly receive. Would the ushers please begin receiving the gifts? Yeah, come on up.
If I believed, would the wind always fill up my sail? How far would I go? What could I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where true believers dare to tread. Never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you ask if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are there miracles in you and me? I know there are. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where true believers dare to tread. Never lose faith, even when losing my way. What steps would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear, would the voice of courage whisper in my ear? Maybe this is what I do. I am brave enough to move ahead, where true believers dare to tread. Never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today? I am brave. What will I do 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 today? I am brave.
Thank you so much. I'm going to do the offering blessing in just a minute. You know, I get letters and emails from people all the time thanking us for allowing us into their homes in various parts of the world. And I thought, you know, maybe I ought to start reading some of them so that you know how our message of science of mind and empowerment is moving out into the world. And so let me share this one letter with you. Dear spiritual family, I pray this finds you well and blessed in so many ways. I hope that this small contribution may continue to allow you to share the word with so many and impact the lives of those you may never meet. I am thoroughly enjoying this month's sermon and lessons and look forward to Pastor Larry's jokes. You see, I actually have a fan. But wait, there's more. And look forward to Pastor Larry's jokes. May you continue to do the amazing work you are doing and always offering a place at the table for those who have been tossed away so often. Many blessings. And this is from a gentleman who's incarcerated in San Luis, Alabama. So just a touching letter from someone who's in a correctional facility right now. So bless you all for your support. It goes well beyond what's happening in this particular room, as we know. We have listeners around the world. So yeah, let's do the blessing of the offering. On behalf of the Portland Center for Spiritual Living, I receive these gifts with great love. I know that our vision and mission of a world that truly works for everyone goes out as we pay our bills, as we make gifts to other nonprofits. Truly, this word is manifest in the world. I let it be, and so it is. So a quick offer of prayer support. You know, I would love to think that we're all feeling super empowered today, ready to go out and be our badass selves out in the world. But I also know that there may be some of us that are going through a bad patch or having some trouble right now. And if you would like some prayer support, we have a couple ways of accomplishing that. Of course, we do have a Ministry of Prayer table here in the sanctuary. You can fill out one of the prayer request cards, and it's our honor to pray for you throughout the week. However, we're also available 24/7. So just go to our website, cslportland.org. At the bottom of every single screen is a little link for Make a Prayer Request. That auto-magically goes out an email to all of our practitioners and ministers. And truly, it's our honor to pray for you throughout the week. So if we can be of assistance, please count on us in that way. But for now, gosh, I think it's time that we close. Shall we do our benediction? Do we even remember how to do that? I invite you to stand. You don't have to hold hands if you don't want to, but it does require repeating after me. Something wonderful is flowing through me right now.
Something wonderful is flowing through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my body.
And life is in my affairs.
Life is in my affairs.
I think it. I feel it. I expect it. And I am it. Just the way that I am. Please know with me that you are never alone. If at any time during the day or night, if forgetfulness might creep upon you, I invite you to go within. On that altar of the Most High, recognize that you are loved. And in gratitude for this certainty, I let it be, and so it is.
Closing song together, lift every voice and sing. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise.
If you happen to be in the Portland, Oregon area, we'd love to have you visit in person. The Portland Center for Spiritual Living is located at 6211 Northeast Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. We have inspirational services at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. every Sunday. We also have many programs, classes, and workshops developed just for our online audience. To find out more, go to our website at cslportland.org and look under the Online tab. We have a variety of content dedicated specifically for our online listeners. Our mission is to open hearts, ignite minds, and make a difference. If you'd like to support our center, you can donate online at cslportland.org/donate. Our website is also the place to learn more about what's going on at the center or to contact us. Allow us to become part of your extended spiritual community. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are most welcome at the Center for Spiritual Living.